Have you ever wondered if there's a simple way to give your heart a little extra help as the years go by? Maybe you've heard the usual advice. Watch your salt intake, be mindful of cholesterol, and try to stay active. Yet many people over 70 still find themselves feeling uncertain about the best nutritional choices to protect their heart and maintain vitality. It's perfectly understandable. Decades of shifting dietary trends and conflicting guidance can make even the most devoted health enthusiasts feel overwhelmed. But here's the good news. There are foods out there, some of them quite surprising, that might offer significant support to your heart, helping you feel more energetic and confident in your day-to-day life. One of the greatest challenges seniors face is identifying which foods genuinely promote heart health and which are mostly hype. At this stage in life, many of us have to juggle various health considerations: blood pressure, cholesterol levels, digestion, and even medication interactions. With all these factors, it's easy to believe that dietary improvements require drastic measures or expensive, hard-to-find products. This belief can lead to frustration and a sense of powerlessness, as though real, positive change might be out of reach. But it doesn't have to be that way. Why does this matter? Because your heart is not just an organ pumping blood. It's the core engine that influences your overall well-being, mobility, and even emotional state. When your heart is strong and well-supported nutritionally, it can make daily activities like walking around the neighborhood or enjoying a Sunday afternoon with family feel more comfortable. You might notice fewer bouts of fatigue, and you'll likely feel more optimistic about continuing to do the things you love. Simply put, focusing on the right foods can lead to better quality of life, and that sense of renewed energy can spill over into all the areas that matter to you. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover 5 foods that might surprise you with their ability to support a healthier heart. We'll explore how each food challenges common assumptions, discuss a misconception many seniors have about it, and then dive into realistic examples of how other older adults have integrated these foods into their diets to unlock both physical and emotional benefits. Each segment will also provide easy, actionable tips you can apply right away. No fancy recipes required, just straightforward ways to incorporate these options into your meals. Along the way, you'll see how something as simple as a particular vegetable or a modest serving of an unexpected treat could offer a fresh perspective on what it means to eat well in your 70s and beyond. I've spent years exploring nutrition and lifestyle strategies for older adults, working alongside health educators and seniors who've navigated everything from medication management to active aging. While this shouldn't replace the personalized guidance of your doctor or dietitian, it's meant to empower you with up-to-date insights and possibilities. So, if you're ready to explore foods that can spark a sense of rejuvenation in your daily routine, join me on this journey. Take a moment now to think about your own eating habits. What are you most curious about changing or adding to your diet? Keep those thoughts in mind, because you might just find the answers you've been seeking in the next few moments. Let's begin by challenging a widely held assumption about vegetables and look at one that many seniors underestimate: beets. A common misconception is that beets are only for fancy salads, or that they're too messy or earthy tasting for everyday meals. Henry, who is 74, used to feel that beets were only for special occasions. He'd eat them pickled at holiday dinners or in a beet and goat cheese salad at a restaurant, but he never saw beets as something he could incorporate regularly. He believed these bright root vegetables were high in sugar and wouldn't be great for his blood pressure. Little did he know, beets contain dietary nitrates and important nutrients that can actually help support healthy blood pressure levels and blood flow when enjoyed in moderation. Research over the years has shown that the naturally occurring nitrates in beets may help relax blood vessels. The effect is subtle yet potentially beneficial, especially for those concerned about heart health as they get older. There's also some evidence that suggests the antioxidants in beets might reduce oxidative stress, a process linked to inflammation in the body. For many people in their 70s and beyond, issues like inflammation can contribute to everything from joint discomfort to increased cardiovascular risks. If you want to experiment with beets, start simple. You can roast them in the oven with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. Roasting transforms that strong, earthy flavor into something sweet and mellow. Some seniors even find that adding diced roasted beets to a salad with greens and walnuts is an easy way to enjoy them. If you're concerned about your sugar levels, keep an eye on portion size. Half a cup is often enough to reap the benefits without going overboard. Henry tried adding a small amount of roasted beets to his lunch a couple of times a week. Within about a month, he noticed his blood pressure readings were slightly better, and he found himself more enthusiastic about cooking. Emotionally, he felt proud that he was taking control in a simple yet powerful way, finding a sense of renewed agency in his own kitchen. Be mindful of how beets might interact with certain medications, especially if you're on blood pressure drugs or blood thinners. A quick chat with your healthcare provider can clarify how often and how much to include. The main takeaway is that beets are not just for special occasions or fancy dishes. They can become a regular, heart-friendly staple in your diet, lending beautiful color and a subtle sweetness that can make meals feel more exciting. Now that we've cracked the door open on a less conventional option, let's explore another overlooked powerhouse that might be sitting in your pantry right now. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect. What are your favorite vegetables, and have you ever considered ways to prepare them differently? The goal here is to remind ourselves that simple swaps in our daily routines can have long-term benefits. Just like Henry, you might discover a newfound enjoyment in something you once thought was uninteresting or off-limits. The next food often carries a bit of a bland reputation, especially for those who grew up in an era of plain cereal and a glass of milk for breakfast: oats. For many seniors, oats bring to mind those quick packets of instant oatmeal loaded with sugar or nostalgic memories of oatmeal cookies. The common misconception is that oats are boring, flavorless, or purely for managing cholesterol, with no real pleasure involved. Let's look at Margaret, who's 78, as a perfect example of someone who dismissed oats for years. She believed that her morning toast and jam provided the same kind of energy as oats, without the bland taste. However, she'd also been wrestling with fluctuating cholesterol levels, and her doctor hinted she might benefit from adding more soluble fiber to her diet. Margaret decided to experiment. She started with plain rolled oats, cooking them with low-fat milk, and adding a pinch of cinnamon and a few berries. At first, it felt too simple, almost disappointing. But after about 2 weeks of making small changes, like swapping her morning toast for oatmeal or adding oats to homemade muffins, her cholesterol levels showed a slight improvement. More importantly, she noticed she felt fuller for longer, which made her less inclined to snack on sweets during the day. This had a ripple effect on her weight management, another factor that can significantly influence heart health. The science behind oats revolves around beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber known to help maintain healthy cholesterol levels when part of a balanced diet. Beta-glucan can bind to cholesterol in your digestive tract, helping to usher some of it out of your body. Beyond that, oats provide complex carbohydrates, offering sustained energy, rather than the quick spike and crash often associated with refined grains. For seniors, steady energy levels are crucial for maintaining an active lifestyle, preventing the fatigue that can lead to decreased mobility over time. In practical terms, you don't have to limit yourself to a bowl of hot oatmeal. You can blend oats into smoothies, bake them into healthy snack bars, or use them as a topping for a yogurt parfait. If you have issues with chewing or swallowing, there are finely milled options available that create a smoother texture. Remember to watch out for flavored instant packets that might have added sugars or sodium. Reading labels carefully and opting for whole or rolled oats can help you keep your intake cleaner and more nutritious. If you're on any medication related to cholesterol or have concerns about dietary fiber interacting with those medications, a simple conversation with your pharmacist or doctor can offer peace of mind. Emotionally, making the switch to oats can be surprisingly empowering. For Margaret, it wasn't just about the physical benefits. It was a reminder that small, manageable changes can accumulate into something larger and more meaningful. She found a renewed sense of pride in taking the initiative to tweak her breakfast routine, and it motivated her to try more heart-healthy recipes. If you're considering oats for your own plan, remember that flavor doesn't have to be sacrificed. Spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, or even a hint of vanilla extract can make your morning bowl far from bland. After all, part of the journey is discovering ways to genuinely enjoy these foods, not just tolerate them. Having explored beets and oats, two vastly different but surprisingly beneficial foods, Pause and think about whether there's a simple tweak you can make to tomorrow's breakfast or side dish. Even modest changes can bring a sense of hope and a spark of new life into your routine. Let's move on to a food that not only satisfies a sweet tooth, but also packs potential benefits for heart health: dark chocolate. The misconception here is that anything with the word chocolate in it must be a guilty pleasure with no real nutritional value. Robert, who is 76, thought the same. He'd cut out chocolate entirely when his cardiologist first mentioned he needed to watch his sugar intake and manage his weight. For a while, he believed all forms of chocolate would sabotage his heart health goals. But then he discovered that quality dark chocolate, especially varieties with 70% or more cocoa, could be part of a balanced diet. The key lies in antioxidants known as flavonols, which research suggests may support healthy blood flow and even help with blood pressure regulation. However, it's important to balance the potential benefits with the reality that chocolate often contains sugar and fat. The darkest varieties tend to have less sugar and may offer a higher concentration of heart-friendly compounds. When Robert introduced a small square of dark chocolate into his afternoon routine, rather than a sweetened milk chocolate bar, he noticed it satisfied his craving without sending his energy on a roller coaster ride. His mood lifted too, because he was allowing himself a bit of indulgence without guilt. The emotional benefit of enjoying dark chocolate should not be overlooked. Feeling deprived can be demotivating, leading some seniors to abandon a heart-focused diet altogether. Allowing a little pleasure can be both satisfying and sustaining, helping you stay committed to healthier meals overall. Still, it's crucial to be mindful of portion sizes. 1 or 2 small squares a day is usually enough. Pair it with fresh fruit like strawberries or a handful of nuts to create a mini heart-healthy snack that also feels like a treat. For those on certain medications, particularly those that affect heart rate or blood pressure, it's worth checking whether caffeine or other compounds in dark chocolate might cause issues. Most people won't have a problem, but it's always better to ask a healthcare professional if you're uncertain. Don't forget to read labels and look for high-quality chocolate with minimal added ingredients. If you see sugar as the first or second ingredient or a long list of artificial flavors, consider a different brand. Robert discovered that shifting from strict restrictions to mindful moderation improved not just his diet, but his sense of well-being. It reminded him that healthy eating doesn't have to be a joyless pursuit. Whether you're adding dark chocolate to a homemade trail mix or simply enjoying it alongside a cup of tea, savor the experience. In doing so, you reinforce the idea that nourishing your heart can be both effective and enjoyable. Before diving into the next food, reflect on whether there's a small indulgence you've cut out entirely. Could switching to a higher quality, more nutritious version bring a sense of balance back into your life? By consciously choosing something better for you and enjoying it in moderation, you may find it helps you stay the course on other heart-healthy habits. Now that we've explored 3 foods and how they can shift your perspective on what's allowed, let's take a moment to check in. Are you starting to see how variety and enjoyment can go hand in hand with maintaining heart health? If any of these foods or ideas sparked your interest, consider sharing your thoughts or experiences with someone you trust. Sometimes hearing another person's excitement or reservations can clarify your own feelings and give you fresh ideas. Moving on, here's a food that many people think of purely in terms of vegetarian diets or certain cultural cuisines: lentils. A common misconception is that lentils are only for those who avoid meat, and that they're difficult to digest or boring in flavor. Let's consider Louise, who's 80 and has spent most of her life enjoying traditional dishes centered around beef, chicken, or fish. She rarely ventured into plant-based proteins because she assumed they wouldn't taste good or that she'd have to give up foods she loved. She also thought that as she aged, she needed more animal-based protein to keep her strength up. Imagine her surprise when her granddaughter prepared a lentil stew packed with vegetables, herbs, and a little bit of lean turkey for flavor. Louise discovered that not only were lentils easier to incorporate than she'd assumed, but they also provided a satisfying texture and an excellent source of plant-based protein. Additionally, lentils contain high levels of dietary fiber, including soluble fiber that can support healthy cholesterol and blood sugar levels, both critical factors for heart health. Over time, Louise noticed that she felt fuller on smaller portions, an unexpected bonus that helped with weight management. What makes lentils especially appealing is their affordability and versatility. They come in various colors, green, brown, red, and each variety has a slightly different cooking time and flavor profile. Brown lentils hold their shape well in soups, green lentils have a peppery flavor that works in salads, and red lentils break down quickly, creating a creamy base for stews. You can cook a batch on the weekend and use them throughout the week in different dishes, soups, salads, or even as a taco filling. This convenience factor is something that resonates with many seniors who prefer to prepare their meals in advance to save time and energy. One of the additional benefits of eating lentils is that they may help stabilize energy levels throughout the day. High-fiber foods generally take longer to digest, which can help prevent those mid-afternoon energy crashes. As for the emotional side, discovering a new source of protein can be empowering, especially for those who felt stuck in a cycle of the same old meals. Louise began to take pride in experimenting with new spices, like cumin, turmeric, and paprika, to enhance the natural flavors of lentils. That small spark of creativity carried over into other parts of her life, making her more open to trying different forms of exercise and social activities. As always, if you have any specific digestive concerns or take certain medications, you might want to discuss lentils with your healthcare provider. For instance, if you're prone to bloating or have certain gastrointestinal conditions, you may need to start with smaller servings and gradually increase your intake. So if you've ever dismissed lentils as too dull or challenging, consider giving them another try. You might be pleasantly surprised by how they can enrich both your diet and your sense of accomplishment. At this point, we've examined 4 foods that challenge common misconceptions. Have you found yourself thinking about which one might be easiest to try first? It's often helpful to start with the option that excites you the most or feels the least intimidating. After you experience success with one change, you'll likely feel motivated to explore the others. Let's move to a final food that blends taste with heart benefits, the avocado. The misconception here is that avocados are too high in fat to be good for older adults concerned about their cholesterol or waistline. James, who is 72, held this view for most of his life. He was cautious about anything labeled high fat. It wasn't until he started reading more about healthy fats, particularly monounsaturated fats, that he realized not all fats are created equal. Avocados happen to be rich in these beneficial fats, which can be a key component in supporting heart health when balanced with a generally health-conscious eating plan. Avocados also provide dietary fiber, potassium, and an array of vitamins. Potassium is especially important because it helps balance the effects of sodium, potentially aiding in maintaining healthy blood pressure. Still, it's crucial for anyone with kidney issues or certain blood pressure medications to check with their doctor, because too much potassium can be problematic under specific conditions. James began by adding just a quarter of an avocado to his morning routine, either mashed on whole grain toast or blended into a smoothie. He found the creaminess satisfying, which reduced his cravings for butter or mayonnaise later in the day. Over time, as he increased his portion sizes slightly and explored new recipes, like avocado salsa or adding avocado slices to salads, James noticed his cholesterol levels were showing signs of improvement. The emotional impact was immediate. He no longer felt restricted to bland, low-fat products. Instead, he discovered a food that tasted indulgent yet aligned with his health objectives. It also opened up a world of possibilities in the kitchen, from guacamole dips that replaced unhealthier snack choices to blended avocado soups that offered a fresh take on lunch. One thing to watch out for is portion control. Although the fats in avocados are healthier than those in many processed foods, they are still calorically dense. A half or quarter of an avocado may be enough for one serving. Combining avocado with other heart-friendly foods, such as oats, lentils, or veggies, can create a balanced meal that keeps you feeling full and satisfied. And just like any significant dietary change, it's advisable to check whether adding avocado frequently to your diet might interact with any existing medical conditions. If you're ready to give avocados a try, keep it simple at first. You could sprinkle a little lemon juice and pepper on avocado slices as a side dish, or mash them to replace mayonnaise in sandwiches. As you gain confidence, explore more recipes, experiment with seasonings, and discover how avocados can be a healthy indulgence that supports your heart and your overall sense of joy at mealtime. We've now covered 5 foods: beets, oats, dark chocolate, lentils, and avocados. Each brings a unique set of nutrients and benefits that can work synergistically to support a healthier heart. More importantly, each food has shown us that the lines between healthy and enjoyable aren't as rigid as we might think. Are you feeling inspired to try something new in the coming week? As we wrap up, let's revisit what these foods represent. They're not magic bullets. No single item on your plate can instantly solve every heart-related concern. Rather, they are parts of a broader approach to eating and living well, an approach that can have surprisingly profound effects on how you feel each day. When you bring these foods into your meal plan, you're also opening the door to better balance in your diet, potential improvements in blood pressure and cholesterol, and a more consistent level of energy throughout the day. Yet there's an even bigger impact here. By discovering new ways to eat well in your 70s and beyond, you're choosing to remain curious, flexible, and open to learning. That mindset alone can keep you feeling young at heart. It's important to take action sooner rather than later. Every day we delay positive changes, we miss out on opportunities to strengthen our cardiovascular system and maintain the vitality we need to enjoy family gatherings, travel, or even simple daily tasks without excessive fatigue. Yet there's no need to feel rushed or alarmed. Healthy eating is a journey, and small steps like adding a side of roasted beets to your dinner or swapping your usual sugary cereal for oats can accumulate into significant results over time. The urgency lies in recognizing that your health choices today can shape how you feel tomorrow. Think of the satisfaction you'll experience if, in a few months' time, you find yourself walking longer distances without feeling breathless or playing with your grandchildren with more ease. These foods, combined with mindful activity and proper medical guidance, can help you move in that direction. From here, I invite you to pick just one of these 5 foods to focus on for the next week. Maybe you'll try incorporating lentils into a soup, or you'll experiment with a small piece of dark chocolate after dinner in place of a sugary dessert. If you feel more ambitious, plan a week's worth of breakfast featuring oats or slice an avocado to top your salad at lunch. For those who want to dive deeper, consider gathering a friend or family member for a cooking session to test out a few new recipes together. If you're truly excited and ready for comprehensive changes, you might even consult a nutritionist or your healthcare provider to ensure your new habits align perfectly with any health conditions or medications. No matter the level of engagement you choose, remember that you're in control. Your body is your own, and so is your future. Embrace the wisdom you've gained over the years and harness it to make the next chapter of your life even more fulfilling. You don't have to settle for outmoded beliefs about aging and diet. You can forge a path that not only supports your physical heart health, but also uplifts your emotional well-being. May you find both satisfaction and a renewed sense of possibility on this journey toward better heart health, one delicious bite at a time.